let's move right into it. We have some excellent candidates here tonight. Sadly, some are running against each other, but that's a free country, and we're glad to do that. So we're going to recognize, before we do that, I do want to recognize a fellow that's not up this year, but is well loved by all. Sheriff Yerke, would you stand? Let's give him a round of applause. My son, who's half crazy, said, I've never met a law enforcement man I liked. I said, well, you need to meet Byron Yerke. So we're thankful for him. Appreciate him so much. I appreciate you bringing your daughter with you tonight, too. Judge Freeman, you come on up here. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh, my.
You know what? We said in our meeting, hey, Wesley, there's a man with some money out there. Help him out. Come on, Wesley. Let's get at it. We said in our meetings, let's pray that Judge Freeman's unopposed. We'll thank the Lord. The election, the qualifying's over. And congratulations, Judge, you're unopposed. Let's give him
I appreciate it. Like I say, this group here is a lot of the reason for that. And I just want to tell you that I will continue to work hard for you and try to move our county forward. So that's what I was asked to do with the skill sets that I laid out when I first ran 6 years ago. And my plan is to continue that path. So I do appreciate your support. And my door's always open for you.
That's true. That is.
Tell them what you did last night.
Last night we had a great event in Fayette. Encourage you anytime to come to Fayette when we have special events, but the one last night was particularly special because it was a time that we honored our veterans. We, for a number of years, we've had a tree lighting ceremony for our veterans. It's actually the Monday after the Veterans Day. It's a Christmas tree lighting. It started out at the courthouse lawn some 14 years ago, I think. And so we had a little tree on the lawn that we would illuminate, almost like Charlie Brown Christmas. And it's one of the things when I ran, everybody said, hey, first thing you do, take the lights off that tree and do something different. So we have a very, very nice Christmas tree now that we actually moved to what we call the Flag Park, which is across from City Hall. And so last night we illuminated that that tree as we've done for a number of years. And a special twist this year on the courthouse lawn. There are several monuments that honor our veterans. We have a memorial monument that honors the 100 plus citizens of Fayette County that lost their lives in wars. And then we have another monument that honors everyone that has served to protect our country. So we've also had on the lawn for a number of years, but it's not been in service, an eternal flame. And it's the eternal flame of freedom. So last night with the work by the gas board, the Fayette Gas Board, in providing the service to that lamp, to that light, and the main thing, paying for the gas to run that lamp and that gas to make it illuminate. We, like I say, lit that. And why it's so special, number one is eternal flame, as I said last night, it's a symbol of remembrance. So it's the eternal flame of freedom. So the only way we can remember our freedom is to recognize the memorial monument that we have, and also the monument that supports everyone that has served our country and protected our country. So it kind of ties it all together. We have a wonderful downtown, a wonderful setting in there. Twinkle would love for you to come and visit anytime, but we're very, very proud of it. But it was very special, and I appreciate you asking about it. So.
We're going to recognize all of our candidates and give each of them a couple of minutes or however long. I get a little scared with that however long, but I know them and they're all going to do well. We have some fine candidates, some running against each other, but we like them all. Is that right? We're going to see the best in each of them, then we'll recognize our speakers tonight. We have two candidates in Commission District 2. First, we'll go in alphabetical order. I'd like to ask Mr. Hughes, our incumbent commissioner, Shane Hughes, to come and say a word.
Chad Hughes. I'm the sitting commissioner for District 2 in Fayette County. That district goes from Winfield to Ewan to Fayette. It's the largest district in Fayette County, has the largest amount of roads in Fayette County. Mr. Robertson is running against me. He's a friend of mine. Fayette County is too small of a county. We're all friends, and we're going to be friends all through this. And if anyone treats you in a way that's unprofessional, if you will come to me, I will handle it, but you won't have to. Because our goal is to make Fayette County better. We've made great strides in the last 4 years, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's next. Thank you.
I guarantee you, you won't elect a bad man in District 2. They're both good guys. One of my favorite people, Brother Farrell, come on up if you would. Now, Brian, both these guys are Baptists, so we got you on that. Farrell, that's good. But they're both good men. Brother Farrell, we talk about Veterans Day, and I'm not taking sides here. He was parachuted behind enemy lines in Vietnam. He's a better man than I am.
Appreciate the introduction, Shane.
Very well.
And I don't know, me and Shane's been friends for a good while, but I'm running against him for Commissioner District 2, and may the best man win. I don't know how that's going to be. I've had some folks told me I lost my mind completely, but I'm going to stick it out anyway, and we'll see how it comes out.
Thank you so much. Also, District 4, Wesley Jacobs is unopposed. District 5, we have 2 fine men as well, and we'll take them in alphabetical order.
Brother John,
Yeah.
Wesley texted me and he has a sick child this week and he cannot be here tonight.
Bless his heart. We appreciate that so much. Wesley's a fine man, unopposed. Also, in District 5, we want to recognize Billy Joe Rogers. Would you come ahead with a few words? Glad to have you. Now listen, I want Twinkle to see his cap and his shirt.
Yeah, I'm JoJo Rogers. I'm running for District 5. That's over in the Bankston style, State Lake Road area, Tuscaloosa County line area. I appreciate everybody's support, and we'll see where it goes from here. Thank you.
My dear friend, brother, Robert Townley, the incumbent. We're just glad to have Robert here tonight. Thank you.
Well, I won't make it quite as short as some of those. I know you don't want to hear nobody else speak. But anyway, listen, it's been an honor to serve our county. It's District 5, as JoJo said. He's a good friend of mine. Been knowing him my whole life. You know, it's when Shane spoke about knowing everybody. Well, you're in Fayette County, you know everybody, the good and the bad. So if you know the good, you know the bad. So it's just kind of how it is. But listen, our county is moving in a direction right now that I really think that in the next 4 or 5 years, you're going to see drastic change. It's already changed a lot. We went from a deficit to a surplus in our budget, which is a huge contribution to the commission that's there. I mean, we've got good leadership. We have a good administration department, and that's part of being conservative. I mean, if you're conservative, look, we have to cut things, right? We cut departments' budgets, but they've never lost a service. I mean, that's what true conservatism is. That's what takes you from an $800,000 deficit to a $2 million surplus. So, and when we do that, we bought equipment. I don't know if you guys have seen the equipment out and about, but listen, we spent over $2 million in equipment. We give out bonuses to our employees. We give out raises. We've developed a pay scale that I think is the future of accounting for the employees. It's a wonderful tool for recruiting employees. I don't know if you guys own businesses. Some of you may. It's hard to recruit employees, especially if you pay them $14 an hour and don't tell them in 5 years where they're going to be. We've developed that. Listen, we're moving forward. We've got to continue to move forward in a positive way. And I appreciate you guys' support. I know it's been a road and a journey that I never thought I would ever do. And, you know, it's not about me, it's about Fayette County. We just got to keep going that way, and you guys are going to see something drastically change. And it already has. It started, and you'll see it. But I do thank y'all again. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm not the best speaker, but hey, I'm just no country boy. If you got any questions, I'll take a question. Be rough on me.
How long has it been between the $800,000 deficit to the
new engineers, road superintendents, EMA directors. We got a whole new group, and that's where it starts, is right there. So I thank you guys. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Now, I'm gonna make all 4 of these folks mad, okay? This is my favorite candidate for commission. Come on up, Dr. Brandon. This lady has more brains. She has more brains in her little finger than me.
I don't know about that.
Listen to me, she is gonna win District 6, and she's gonna send John Underwood home. Can I give this woman a round of applause? Come on, say a few words. We've
Okay.
got to be, she and I talk every day. I can see her on the line. Oh, Lord, it's John calling me. Let me tell you something. 4 years ago, nobody gave her a chance. And she lost by 31 votes, got 49%. That district, if anything, is more favorable. She's going to win this year, hands down. Listen, I'm going to give you another one.
I just want to say hi to everybody and thank you for all the kind words. I'm happy to represent the Republican Party. The Republican Party stands for everything that I believe in my life, and I appreciate your support. And if I'm elected, I will do all I can to further move that along and to move District 6 along too. And say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Valerie, I was counting on a longer speech out of you.
I'm quiet.
Listen, our primary runoff for state rep is over, and we do have a fine man. We're 100% behind in the general election. Brother Brent Yard, come on up and say a few words.
I am Brian Brindar. Thank you all so much.
I had you down to speak next month. You still coming?
I'll be there.
All right.
As long as I got gas.
Don't steal your thunder.
Anyway, thank you all so much for all y'all's support in the primary and runoff. Brad, you're a great guy, and I hate that it had to be between you and me. I barely edged him out, but I just want y'all to know that this district is fantastic. It's very spread out, but y'all are the heart of this district. Fayette County is the hub of this district. We got to make sure that we take care of Fayette County. Now it's me versus Big John Underwood, like you just mentioned, and you're going to send him home, but I hope I don't send him to Montgomery. I saw his sons as soon as I got home the other day, and he's been to Tuscaloosa County. I saw a bunch of his sons up here. Y'all now it's Republican versus Democrat. And what you said about the Republican Party represents everything that I believe as well. And the Democrat Party is representing currently, especially nationally, the most things that I detest. And I really look forward to trying to represent this district down in Montgomery. But when you talk about this district, you got to talk about, we got to be able to move things forward for this district. We have a supermajority Republican House and Senate down there. The only way Fayette County gets anything out of Montgomery is having a Republican there. Well, I hope to be your Republican there. I hope to be the man that's helping move this district forward. I've met Big John. He's a nice guy. I know y'all like him up here. And there are a lot of people up here that like him. I hadn't heard anything negative about him except that he's a Democrat. So this is truly Republican versus Democrat. Nothing bad against Big John that I know of. But we've got to send a Republican to Montgomery to be able to bring home what we need to bring home for Fayette and for northern Tuscaloosa and western Jefferson. And I didn't know this until after the runoff, but once you win your primary, once you're the nominee, you're part of the House caucus, the Republican caucus. And so this past weekend, they had a Republican House caucus retreat at Purcell Farms, and I was able to go down there for that. So I've just met all the Republican representatives, and let me tell you, we've got a bunch of good people down there. I look forward to serving with them. I hope to be able to get there. Everybody's like, oh, you got no problem. Y'all, this is a runoff. I mean, this is a special election. The only thing on the ballot, again, we are begging people to come out a third time. All he's got to do is rally the troops one time, and he can get by us. If it's cold, it doesn't matter. We got to go vote. If it's raining, it doesn't matter. We got to go vote. We got to tell our friends and family we got to go vote for the Republican. We got to go vote, or we're going to let a Democrat slip in. We can't let that happen. This is one of the most Republican districts in the whole state. I don't want to be that guy that lost to a Democrat in an 85-15 Republican to Democrat district. So we got to get out and vote. I appreciate all of y'all. I know that many of y'all supported Brad. Brad, you have a great bunch of friends up here. And I know that you've endorsed me, and I appreciate that. You said that on the phone to me. I appreciate that, those kind of words. Please get your folks out, and we'll bring it home, okay? Thank y'all.
These are some fine candidates. I'm proud of every one of them. I like all of them. I like Valerie just a little bit better. You know, listen, she's going to win. If that means Sammy and I stay up all night, she's going to win. So glad to see you. We have two guests at the state level. Excuse me, has anybody been left out that hasn't worked? Okay. We have two candidates at the state level who are running. Let me introduce Mr. Tom Gavan. He grew up in New Orleans, but something in him drew him to Tuscaloosa, Alabama to go to college. So don't hate him for being Auburn. We're going to have Auburn speaking. But Tom Gavan came here to go to school. Tom has been a tremendous prosecutor throughout the city and the county. We just appreciate his good work. He's made a difference as Assistant Attorney General. He's just a fine, solid conservative. Let's give a welcome to our. By the way, he is not running against Chris McCool. He's running for the seat Chris used to have. Chris is running for Supreme Court. By the way, he's unopposed too. So we're glad to meet Mr. Tom Gavan. Come right ahead.
Thank you very much. Good evening. So as John mentioned, I'm Thomas Gavan. I'm running for the Court of Criminal Appeals, Place 2. That was going to be my first thing to make clear. I'm running for an open seat on the Court of Criminal Appeals. Judge Chris McCool, who's a fine man, a fine judge, he's decided that he's going to be running for the Alabama Supreme Court. So I'm running to take the spot that he's vacating. And I'm here tonight to ask you to go with Gavan for the Court of Criminal Appeals on March 5th of 2024 in the Republican primary. I'd like to tell you just a little bit about myself and why I'm running. I'm from Montgomery. I'm the husband and a father to 4 wonderful school-aged children, and I'm a career prosecutor. I'm a lifelong conservative, all the way back to my days in Tuscaloosa, where I was chairman of the College of Republicans at the University of Alabama. I'm a reserve officer in the United States Air Force. I commissioned into the Air Force in 2016, where I served as a JAG officer. As I mentioned in the introduction, I'm a career prosecutor, so my entire career in public service, over 15 years as a state and federal prosecutor, where I really dedicated my career to standing up against violent crime and standing up for victims of crime. And I was blessed to take that fight all the way to Washington, D.C., where in 2018 I had the privilege of arguing a case in the United States Supreme Court against a defendant who had murdered a Mobile police officer. Now I take that fight all across the state of Alabama, prosecuting cases and trying cases to juries. I'm the chief of the Criminal Trials Division in Attorney General Steve Marshall's office. And we go around the state working with law enforcement officers, working with district attorneys to try cases and prosecute those cases. We've actually got an oral argument in Birmingham on Thursday. I'll be in Birmingham on a capital murder case out of Lamar County, the Brandon Sykes case that was prosecuted. Our office prosecuted that with Andy Hamlin's office a couple of months ago. We have oral arguments in Birmingham later this week. But I want to take that experience to the Court of Criminal Appeals. And I'm running because now more than ever, we've heard it tonight, we need conservative leaders to stand up, to protect our values, to protect our Constitution and the rule of law. Because you just have to turn on the TV for just a few minutes and look what's going around in Washington, D.C., and we can see that our values are under attack, our constitutions are under attack, and even our families are under attack. And the worst part about this, if we really look deep in it, folks are using the court system to try to make those attacks. Just a couple of months ago, in August, the California Attorney General sued a local California school district over what I would think would just be a common sense policy that would allow teachers to tell parents if a child reported to that teacher that they wanted to change their gender. And the California Attorney General sued the school district to stop them from doing that. Well, I'm a husband and father of 4 wonderful children, and I want to take that stand in Alabama. We need more than ever conservative leaders to stand up, and we definitely need them on the judiciary. We need them on the Court of Criminal Appeals. The Court of Criminal Appeals is the court that handles all the appeals that come up anytime someone's convicted of a crime around the state. And I want to take my experience as a hard-working, rule of law, tough-on-crime prosecutor to serve on the Court of Criminal Appeals. And I'm doing that again because I want to stand up for our values. My wife and I, we've got 4 children, and we love Alabama. And we love the state we have. We want to continue to make sure we have a state where our communities are safe and that the rule of law is enforced. And that's why I want to run for the Court of Criminal Appeals. And just briefly, I want to mention 3 things, 3 values that I will bring to the Court of Criminal Appeals and committed to doing so. It's experience, commitment, and faith. Experience, commitment, and faith. First, experience matters on a judicial seat in the Court of Criminal Appeals. And I'm one of the few attorneys in the state who has argued a case to the U.S. Supreme Court and tried cases to juries. I've tried jury trials in state court, I've tried jury trials in federal court, I've tried cases in the military courts, and I've been blessed to be able to have argued cases and prosecuted cases in the Court of Criminal Appeals, the court that I'm running for. I've also been blessed with the unique opportunity to lead our state as well. 2 different attorney generals have appointed me to lead 2 different divisions in our office. I was first appointed as the chief of the Capital Litigation Division, which is the division that handles all the capital murder and death penalty cases on appeal. And now, as I mentioned, I'm the chief of the Criminal Trials Division, where we handle all the prosecution and jury trials around the state as well. That's the type of experience that I want to bring to the Court of Criminal Appeals. Secondly is commitment. Commitment is a value that we need in our judges more than ever. And for me, my commitment as a prosecutor is a real thing. It's a calling that I have. And I just want to give you an example of why that commitment is real to me. When I had that opportunity to argue the case in the U.S. Supreme Court, my wife was able to come with me to Washington, D.C., to be in the room when I made those arguments. Well, there's another person in the room during the arguments as well, and that was the granddaughter of the Mobile police officer who was murdered. And she had come to watch as I argued to keep the man who had murdered her grandfather on death row. And during the arguments, it's just the only way that God could have put it together, my wife was able to sit next to the granddaughter of that police officer. And that was such an impactful experience for me because it was a reminder that what I do day in and day out, it's real. And it's not just a job, it's a calling. And it's a calling to ensure that justice is carried out, that violent crime is punished, that victims have a voice. And that's the same commitment and passion that I will bring every single day to the Court of Criminal Appeals. And finally, the most important thing in my life that I'll bring, the value that I'll bring, is my faith in Christ. That's the most important thing that we have in our lives. Everything we have is a gift from God. And whatever our calling is in life, we need to do that and bring that for God's glory. And that's why I feel so strongly and called to be in public service to this point as a prosecutor, but now I feel the calling is to serve on the Court of Criminal Appeals. I'm an elder at my church, Trinity Church in Montgomery. I'm a Sunday school teacher. And believe it or not, you may not believe it, but I also sing in the church choir. So if y'all ever over in Montgomery visiting, I would love to have y'all come visit us as well. So that's the experience and the values that I want to bring to the Court of Criminal Appeals. And I just thank y'all for the opportunity to talk tonight, to share a little bit about myself. Thank you for the opportunity to visit. I would love to visit with y'all later tonight as well. And I'd love to have your support on the campaign as well. It's a statewide campaign. We've been all over the state. We've been really encouraged by the energy and momentum and people believing in what we stand for as well. I've got some cards here with me today, so I'd love to pass these out if you haven't got one already. We've got some cards on the back table. I also brought a sign-up sheet if you'd like to receive emails from our campaign. Our website is thomasgovanforjudge.com. We'd love to have you follow us along on that. And just remember the values that I want to bring to the Court of Criminal Appeals: experience, commitment, and faith. That's what I believe in, and that's what I stand for, and that's what I'll bring to the Court of Criminal Appeals from day one. So thank you all so much for the opportunity to visit.
Take questions.
And I would love to have some questions as well. Any questions? No questions?
You say you was unopposed?
I've got one opponent in the primary. So I'll have an opponent in the primary. Any other questions? Okay, so cover everything then. Well, thank you all so much. And remember to go with GoVan for the Court of Criminal Appeals on March 5th of 2024. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, Tom Govan. I still want to call him Govan, but it's Govan. We're just so glad to have tonight as our special guest, Ms. Twinkle Cavanaugh. She's been, in 2012, was elected president of the Public Service Commission. Recently, there was some great controversy as a very beautiful spot in Talladega area that the people wanted left alone, but Alabama Power was determined to do what they were going to do. She stood up to the big utility. She stood up to the environmentalists who would put a tightening effect on our economy. So it's just a great honor to have someone I've known for many years, a great lady. Let's welcome a good friend and a friend of Fayette County, Twinkle Cavanaugh.
Thank you, John. I sure appreciate the opportunity to be with you all. And this is 1 second, I'm going to brag, but this is my logo. I know you all have seen it before, but what I want you to see is the back. I serve as the president of the Public Service Commission, but my proudest accomplishment is this precious baby girl that is in 11th grade and about to leave her mom. I ask her constantly, where are we moving to for college? And she doesn't think it's funny. So anyway, it's a pleasure to be with you all tonight. And I want to talk about things in our country right now. I do have opposition on March the 5th, but you know what? This is not my position. It is your position as president of the Alabama Public Service Commission. And it's my job to stand before you and interview again for this job. And I hope on March the 5th you will choose to go to the polls and vote for me, vote for Twinkle, the strange name on the ballot. But I'm here to interview with you tonight. Let me tell you, at the Public Service Commission, I've had a front row seat with what's happening in our country. A lot of times you think energy issues and you think, that's boring. Well, folks, we've got to be paying attention. They are destroying our country through energy issues, while I believe most people are not paying attention. You know, many years ago, my mother, who taught school for 40 years, said no one was paying attention when they took prayer out of schools, and look where we are today. Our country is a disaster. Right now, God tells us to go with Israel, protect His land, and yet we've got people protesting everywhere right now saying they're with Palestine. What? You know, we have pro-choice movements saying that it's okay to do away with a baby that is vital to live. I mean, I can't even fathom what's going on in our country right now. Well, folks, what was happening now, almost 60 years ago, when they took prayer out of schools, is now in destroying our country. We're seeing the devastation of that decision. Well, I can tell you it's getting strong with our economy right now on another front with what they're doing with fossil fuels and what they're doing with energy issues in our country, and we've got to be paying attention. They keep telling us that it's because they want a greener environment. Well, let's talk about that for a minute, and let me give you some examples. Do you remember what Joe Biden did on his very first day as president? Killed the Keystone Pipeline. All right, what is the Keystone Pipeline? It's to bring oil from the tar sands of Canada down to our Gulf Coast refineries. Well, I will tell you, a pipeline is absolutely the best way to do that. But now, it's 850,000 barrels of oil daily that need to go from Canada down to our Gulf Coast refineries. Do you think because because he quit the pipeline that we no longer get that oil? Of course not. But how are we getting it? Mostly via rail. We do have some, trucking with it, but mostly it's by rail. And so if you look at how many trucks does it take to get it from, how many train cars does it take every day? 1,125. Now, remember, a train car goes down. To pick up its next load, it's got to go back up north, so double that. 2,250 train cars every day on the tracks in the United States to get that oil south and come back up north to pick up the next train load of oil. Or you could look at it with an 18-wheeler, a tanker truck on the highways. What does that mean? It's right under 4,000 trucks because they actually could hold less oil than a tanker train car. So you're talking a little less than 4,000 trucks on the road daily if we have an 18-wheeler. At the Public Service Commission, we regulate pipelines, we regulate trucking, and we regulate rail safety when it comes to track inspections and large equipment and derailments. I can assure you that the best way to get that oil from Canada down to the Gulf Coast refineries would absolutely be a pipeline. But why do they want to put it on rail? I believe it's because it makes it a whole lot more expensive, a whole lot less safe, and guess what they can come to you and say? See, I told you, we don't need that fossil fuel, we don't need that oil, and make it much more expensive. If you put it in a pipeline, it makes it less expensive, and we're much more energy independent in our country. Let me ask you real quickly, have you used oil today? I love this when I talk to people. Oil is affecting everything in our country. Everything. Did you get up this morning and take a shower or a bath and use soap? If you don't have to answer. If you did, you used oil. That's a byproduct, the soap. Did you put contacts in your eyes or glasses on your face? If they contain plastic, then you used oil. Did you happen to run into the kitchen and get yourself a bowl of oatmeal or some cereal or probably just about anything you ate for breakfast? They fertilized it on the farm. Byproduct of oil. Then more than likely you got in your vehicle oil. We didn't even talk about the farmer and his tractor and getting the food to the market and back to your table. All of that, oil. So when they talk about a barrel of oil going up, what is it doing to our economy? It's killing it. And yet, a lot of times people are not paying attention. When they talk about a barrel of oil, do you look at it and go, wow, that's really affecting me today? Probably not, but it is, and they're doing it undercover to destroy our economy. They're doing it on all fronts. They want to get rid of fossil fuels. Let me give you a few numbers since November of 2020. So right now, we're talking 3 years ago when President Biden took office, or was elected. At that time, since that point until today, the overall inflation is 18.2%. So how many of you have gotten an 18.2% increase in your pay? I haven't. Nobody across America has. So everybody has gotten a tax. If you're paying more for everything, that's basically just a tax on your income. 18.2% inflation. So really, you'd need more than 18.2% to say you got a raise. Not many people getting that. Now in those numbers, a lot of times food is not included. Food is right now at 21% increase. Now I don't know who came up with that 21% increase, but they hadn't been to the grocery store with me. I think it's more like 50% increase at the grocery store, but they're saying it's 21%. Now, as you know, gasoline has gone up and down and vacillated in our state. When Biden was elected that November, gasoline was $1.79 a gallon on Election Day in Alabama, an average cost. Today it's $2.94. That's the price today. Now, some places it may be a little cheaper and a little bit more, but basically in Alabama, $2.94. If you're talking about an electricity bill, and this is not state of Alabama, this is nationally. Nationally, electricity is up 24% across our country. That means everybody that's paying their electric bill is paying more. Why? If it's like in Alabama, and anybody that's on Alabama Power Company, they have not gotten one dime more in those years when it comes to profits or any type of O&M price, but you know what they have? Fuel. Fuel has gone through the roof. Natural gas last year was $10 per MMBTU. Under Donald Trump, it was under $2 per MMBTU. So what happens if you went to the gas station and gasoline was under $2 and it went up to $10? That's what happened in natural gas, and that's how a lot of electricity is produced in our country. The prices of fossil fuels are killing our economy. In fact, when you look at the price of all energy in our country, the price is up 48% over those 3 years. 48%. Folks, these numbers are driving us out of business in this country. And they don't want you paying attention. But like I said, at the PSC, I've had a front row seat. The first thing they did about 10 years ago is they started coming to all of our meetings, and the environmentalists kept fighting to say, oh, we've got to have solar, we've got to have solar, we've got to do away with the fossil fuels. And in fact, the environmentalists from California spent $2 million in Alabama advertising, trying to make you believe that your PSC was not doing a good job because we weren't demanding or mandating that electricity be produced by solar in this state. At your commission, we are for an all-of-the-above approach. It needs to be affordable and reliable, because if electricity and all utilities are affordable and they're reliable, then guess what? You can afford it. Your lights will come on when you need it, or your heat will come on when you need it. And also, when it comes to looking at the overall economy, we can provide jobs, 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 which was basically what you saw on all my campaign signs. Jobs, jobs, jobs in this state for mamas and daddies that are so important. That's how we drive our economy. So when you look at them saying that this is all about green energy, shake your head and say, no, it's not. It's about killing our economy and control, because that's what's happening right now in our world or in the United States. But thank goodness for Alabama, where the citizens like you and myself were so conservative that we don't believe in all these mandates. We don't believe Washington should be telling us how to live or how to produce our electricity or what type of heat we should be using. We believe that we should be able to use whatever hot water heater and whatever stove we want to use. And we also believe that we need to be good stewards of our environment, but we need common sense. And that's what's lacking right now in Washington. We need just good common sense. At the commission, I've said I believe in an all-of-the-above approach. I believe in fossil fuels. I believe in coal. This is a coal state. Alabama is a coal state. When I first got to the commission 10 years ago, we had 5,000 jobs in the coal industry. Today, we have less than 2,000 in Alabama. That's what Washington has done to our economy. And in Georgia and in many other states, they've shut down all of their coal-fired plants. In Alabama, we've shut down many, but not all, of our coal-fired units. And the reality is now, all these other states are having blackouts. They don't have enough electricity, and they're begging to open those coal-fired plants back up. But thank goodness in Alabama, we did not let them shut all of ours down. I'm a conservative, as I tell folks all over the state. There is no way I can possibly tell you how I will vote on every issue that comes before me. But what I can tell you is that you can guarantee it'll be a conservative decision. It will be a transparent decision. You can call me if you want to talk about it, because I'm always available. I'll give you my cell number in a second. And the third thing is, just like some other speakers have said tonight, there is no doubt what drives me and what drives my family. God comes first. Jesus Christ is my Savior. I'm a Sunday school teacher, and that is what drives me every day. I pray before my decisions. They might not all be perfect, but I can guarantee you they were prayerfully made, because I've not made any without praying. I don't hire anyone at the commission without praying about who we hire, and I might break every rule in the books, but I ask them flat out when they interview me, where do you go to church? So I can assure you that at your commission, you've got a conservative, I'm transparent, and my door is always open. I am so blessed to get to serve you. I ask for your vote one more time on March the 5th, and let me give you my cell number. It is, and if you don't get it, John's got it, 334-558-5432. It's the same one my family has. It's not a state cell phone, it's my personal one. Once again, it's 334-558-5432. I think if you want to serve, you've got to be accessible. And that's why I give my cell number out on the radio, on television shows, and every time I speak, because I want to make sure you can get in touch with me. But it's a blessing to get to serve you. I have to real quickly a little diversion here. I served as chairman of the Alabama Republican Party in the '06 election cycle. And I can tell you, if I had walked into this county in that year and seen this big of a crowd at this Republican meeting, I would have fainted or thought I was in the wrong meeting. So thank you so much for all getting involved, because I believe that the only way that America can be defeated is if we quit caring and if we quit praying. So I beg you to pray and to continue being an activist and involved. Thank you for what you do. When I walked up tonight, I had chill bumps seeing this many people at a Republican meeting. Thank you, and God bless.
What can the Alabama Public Service Commission do to overcome the federal restrictions?
Well,
You talked about all the bad that has happened since Knucklehead became president. Excuse me, folks, I say what I think.
You're
What
right.
you haven't said is what the state commission, I'm an electric utility employee retired, so,
Well, number one, and the most important, is to make sure that we still send at least 6 members to Congress and don't lose that 2nd congressional seat. That is so important. I'd love to win the 7th congressional district also. We found that to be very difficult, but now they've tried to make us lose a 2nd congressional seat. We have got to keep our congressmen in Washington. We cannot let the Democrats. Right, but that is so important, like, to keep that. It is so important that we elect a Republican to the presidency. I have endorsed Donald Trump, but if you support someone else, that's okay, but we've got to have a Republican. But one of the things I've done is I have testified before the EPA many times. I file briefs every time there is something that comes up with our state EPA, which is ADEM in Alabama under Lance LaFleur. I file there every time. I will go before his committee and testify when something makes sense. We do not have mandates in this state, even though they want us to. We are really pushed to do that. We don't have any mandates. We do what makes sense from the commission. And like I said, we're one of the few states that has kept, we still have 10 coal-fired units in this state, and we are keeping those. I have yet to be in a meeting where I didn't say, if you do away with coal and some of these units that make sense, I'm okay with it, but you're not going to get rid of Alabama coal. We still have one of our units burning Alabama coal, one of our, one of our places still burning in Alabama coal. We will keep that. And so what I do is constantly testify, file briefs, fight, and when I make a decision from the bench, it is always to keep what is our God-given natural resource. I don't look at coal and think it's better, or natural gas that it's better than anything else. Nuclear is probably the best, but the reality is we can't permit any more nuclear in this state.
why?
Our federal government. I mean, it is a disaster. In fact, if you look at what's happening in Georgia, I think it's going to wind up being okay, but it's overrun, overcost, everything plant vocal over in Georgia, and I don't think you could get that permit again. They've been working on that for years. So right now, what you've got to do in Alabama is continue to be Alabama and our identity and not let them mandate from Washington what we do. They're already doing it enough, believe me. There are some things. In fact, if you took all of the federal mandates off of your power bill right now, I guarantee you it would be less today than it was 25 years ago. Because these federal mandates are driving up the cost, and that's what they want to do. But it's frustrating, believe me. But I'm not scared to take them toe-to-toe and fight with them. And as I say, the green we tend to care about in Alabama, I pull it out, is the dollar bill. And we're sick of what they're doing to us in Washington, driving up cost. Any other? But please stay active, you all, and pray for our country. That's what, if any politician stands up here and tells you they can save America, they're wrong. The only way we save America is through prayer. So please continue to pray. I love you all. I love being here. What a treat to see this big crowd. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for what you all are doing to stay active. I love it. God bless.
Mr. Govan and Ms. Kavanaugh, would y'all stay and let people talk to you? And Mr. Brian, what do you want me to say?
Vote on January 9th.
That's it.
The day after the national championship. Whoever's in it, don't be distracted by the national championship. When you get up the next day, go vote. If you're going to be out of town, if by chance Alabama gets in it somehow, and you're going to go to the game, go get an absentee vote. Send it in. Do not give up the vote. It's not going to be many people voting this thing. We've already seen this before. Just a few votes can matter. And we've got to get there.
Two comments I want to say. Under a normal circumstance, you get 85, 90%. But it's not a normal day.
No.
You're exactly right. So get everybody you can. Wake them up. Get them to vote. Number two, I do want to tell Mr. Govan and Ms. Kavanaugh this. Fayette County is always one of the top 3 in voter turnout. Always, always, always. It's in the DNA of people to vote. And half of them to vote however Jerry Wayne tells them to vote. I'm not joking. If y'all haven't latched on to Jerry Wayne yet, you're